I, again, have another paper to write, but why do that? Why write a paper about the Civil War and Yemen from a constructionist and realist lens and what side I agree on right now when it's due Sunday? And I could talk about how much men annoy me. Oh my God. Oh my God. Why I could do that. I want to talk about how men take up too much space. They take up too much space in everything. Everything good, everything bad. Well, not everything good, mostly everything bad, but even the good things that happen, I feel like somehow they're the face of it, at least in history's past. So this is a little something I wrote about my time on an airplane. In my time on airplanes, when sitting next to a man, my bubble is always invaded. They take up my leg room and arm room. You may say I'm overreacting, but this is just a symptom of a very serious problem, the issue of entitlement within misogyny. I don't think that this was done intentionally at all. I think men are more self conscious around men, and even when around women, they are thinking about men. I don't know what men think. But overall, I think it's very centered on themselves, their way of thinking. Men are too physically comfortable in this world. Maybe that's not the right way to say it, but I feel like women, non binary people, people of color, queer people, physically are not comfortable in this world, and I feel especially cis het men are way, 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 way too comfortable. But just men in general, they're way too comfortable in the world, and either we all need to become equally as comfortable as them, or they need to back that off. Not saying that they can't feel uncomfortable in their own skin or in certain places, but I rarely see them ever shrink themselves, cross their legs, lower their voices. But I don't know. Maybe I was just in the middle seat. As the world falls apart, no one is in control. Women get eating disorders, and men take away women's rights. I don't know. That's just my little rambling. But I think that men take up way too much space. I was on the plane, there's a guy, man spreading, taking my armrest. He's leaning all over me. He's sweaty. He smells. It's so weird and awkward. And I was so frustrated. I wanted to kick him. I wanted to like put his arm off, but I couldn't. Right? Me, I cross my legs all the time. I just like to feel more compact. Guys don't do that. They man spread. I don't care what you say about it being biological. Close your legs, girl. Close them legs. Close them legs. Even this one time I was on the bus. So the bus, when you enter, right, there's two rows and they each have like 4 or 5 seats. So this guy, my age, I understand, like, listen, when I sit on the seats, I usually put a backpack next to me, but that's because I'm a girl. I'm scared about my safety. And if someone I see needs a seat or they ask to sit down, I'm gonna let them sit down. But this guy, backpack, him, legs up, 3 whole seats taken. The entire bus is full. 3 whole seats taken. Girl, what is this? It's just this thing about men. They just feel so comfortable. They feel so comfortable in doing whatever they want, saying whatever they want, because the repercussions are quite little for them, right? Of course, if you're a man of color, it's different. But overall, just as a man, life is just, it's like, why do you have so much power? It literally makes no sense. We didn't come from a patriarchal society. Like, that's not how it started. It was hunter gatherer. We all worked together. So I don't know what happened in that little pea brain when a hippocampus or whatever started growing, but I don't like it. I don't like it. Something happened today that sort of proved my point. Basically, there's this girl in my class, let's call her Emmy. Really sweet. She's a senior about to graduate. And she came to our table. We were talking about hot takes because for my teacher's history final, we have to do a hot take on like a history topic. And we can make it like fun or funny. I was gonna do how the Vietnam War led to ABGs, and now you're thinking it's really stupid. It is stupid, but it makes sense. Think about it. Vietnam War, post, during and post Vietnam War, influx of Laotian, Hmong, Cambodian, and Vietnamese immigrants where they settle Hawaii and the West Coast, specifically California, low income areas with gang culture. Now they're involved in urban culture, Hispanic and African American. So, with the introduction of social media, it spreads ABG aesthetic. But it's another sexualized archetype of Asians. So, anyway, we're talking about hot takes, scrolling social media. I wasn't really listening, but I heard my friend Emmy was saying how she's like, I believe in equality. Really, you think, okay, cool. So do I. A lot of people do. No, Living in California, I have encountered the most racism and bigotry in one of the most liberal states compared to South Florida. Just like personally for me. Anyway, this kid across from us, I'm not gonna say his name because he doesn't deserve it. What are you gonna do about the CCP in China? What about it? And he goes, and the also like, oh, if you believe in equality, like, what have you done? What are you gonna do about it? What have you done about it? And she's like, what the fuck are you talking about? We're like, what the fuck? He's like, well, if you really believe in something, you need to put in the work or you're just saying things. Like, here's the thing about Emmy. She just got into Berkeley and UCLA. She's very high achieving, good grades. She has crazy lore, even crazier than mine. She's been through things. She organizes drives all the time. She always includes people. Very just all around really cool girl. Talk about what do you do? She organized food and toy drives. That's what she does. That's what she does to help with equality. And then and then he's the loudest at the table. He's like, oh, it's just what I believe. It's like, bro, shut up. You, as a self proclaimed nihilist, cannot be upset at someone and attack someone for saying they love equality and question what they do to push equality when at the same time you do nothing because you don't believe in equality because you believe it's not attainable. That's weird. You're weird. And why don't you see that you're weird, bro? You're goofy. You're goofy. And then we're like, oh yeah, she was like, well, I'm doing small things, right? I do small things when I can. Well, it has to be big. We're like, no, it doesn't. It doesn't always start big. He's like, yes, the Revolutionary War started big. We're like, no, bro. Revolutionary War, usually any rebellion of any kind, usually starts in like a little room. Hey guys, we all thinking the same thing? Great, right? They usually have a little bit of some conversation. Sometimes it starts small and it builds up. Okay, what are you talking about? You're just pulling things out your butt at this point. Now, before you get on me, I don't hate men. I don't hate men. I think men are cool. I think they can be great. I think they can be especially great when they're handsome and not evil. They have to be both. They have to be both. But you know what's that saying? It's not all men, but somehow always men. That's what it is. And in case you don't know what that means, it's how, like, of course, not every man in the world is evil or doing heinous acts, but somehow the heinous acts committed are usually, sometimes, always, well, I guess it's an oxymoron, but they're usually done by men, exclusively men. Okay? So there's a saying for a reason, guys. Overall, in this short video, what I'm trying to say is that men take up too much space. If you're a guy watching this, just please be more self-aware. I feel like men, of course, I am generalizing. Hyperbole exists, guys. There's a word for it for a reason, but just be more self-conscious in what you say and what you do and how you act, whether how you talk, social behaviors, physical behaviors, manspreading. Stop that. Stop. Why do you need to do that? Why do you need to do that? Then if you need a man spread, then you need to protest to these underwear companies that are making it uncomfortable for you to sit and close your legs. Like, I don't get it. And maybe it's not that. Maybe it's a social thing. Maybe it's a social thing. Maybe it's just been seen as unladylike to open your legs. Maybe that's the natural way of things. Maybe the natural way of things is closing your legs. And then if you're a guy or you happen to have a scrotum, you open your legs, whether because it's more comfortable for you or because you just want to defy the closing of your legs proximity to godness. I don't know what I just said. But just be more conscious in what you do and what you say and how you act. Men just take up too much space in so many demographics and facets of life in Congress, in the Senate, as leaders, as CEOs, as billionaires, as horrible people, as pretty good people, people that did great things. They take up too much space in conversations. They take up too much space in TV. They take up too much space in movies, in production and direction and writing. They take up too much space in everything important and unimportant. And it's so frustrating. I don't understand. Is it the natural way of things? And women or non-men or non-cis men have been taught that they need to act a different way. That you cannot act like this because you are not this and this is better than you. Is that what it is? And of course, I'm saying it in a very layman's terms way because, this isn't scripted, so I'm just kind of sort of venting. But is the way men act the way we're all supposed to act, or do they just act different because they don't really have to face that many repercussions? Like, I don't understand it. For example, there are entire shows with whole female leads that are centered around men. So many women in general, straight women, bi women, women that are attracted to men, people that are attracted to men, anybody attracted to a man. A lot of them, not everybody, maybe not a lot, but some people, as we can see on TV shows, so stupid, but there are people in real life that center men. And the people that center men, which is never a good thing. Like the issue is the man. What's causing you all the issues is that you're centering a man. I just watched a video. They said behind every unsuccessful woman is a man. And it's so true. A lot of problems people face that women face are directly correlated to the men in their lives. But men need to suffer in silence. Silence. I don't care about the male loneliness epidemic. I honestly don't. It's not even a real thing. I don't believe in it. I don't believe it. Deal with that. Stop being lonely. Go talk to your friends. You text them all the time. You call them all the time. These are your best buds. Why can't you talk to them about what's going on, babes? Yeah. Why you're suffering as a man? It's because of other men. Or because of yourself. Because you're a guy. The only man you need to center is if you are a religious person and you believe that the person above or the person you're worshiping is a man and you are religious, then that's the only man you need to center. So the Bechdel test is a measure of women's representation in fiction. The Bechdel test, or is it Bechdel? I'm going to say Bechdel. The Bechdel test, also known as the Bechdel-Wallace test, is a measure of the representation of women in film other than fiction. The test asks whether a work features at least two women who have a conversation about something more than a man. It's a way of evaluating whether or not a film or other work of fiction portrays women in a way that is sexist or characterized by gender stereotyping. To pass the Bechdel test, a work must feature at least two women. These women must talk to each other, and their conversation must concern something other than a man. The fact that this test was made, was because there's so many pieces of media that when they do involve women, they somehow involve men because they take up everything. They take up and they take. I'm tired of it. Look for like a list, like an updated list of movies and shows and media that pass and don't pass the Bechdel test. Only thing I can find was BechdelTest.com. So one that doesn't is The Brutalist. One that does, Zombies 3. King Von rapped first. Haven't watched that. I don't know. The Killer's Game, Long Legs do pass. Mr. and Mrs. Smith doesn't. Masters of Horror doesn't. Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning does. Revoir Paris passes. Colorful Stage, the movie, A Miku Who Can't Sing. These are movies that pass. It's possible, guys. It's possible for men to not be everything. It's a really great life when men are not about everything. There's this movie called The Kingdom. It's Filipino, and I believe it's about how the Philippines would be if it wasn't colonized. And the leader's a man. Here's the thing. I believe I'm not too well versed on the history of the Philippines. The Philippines was either a matriarchy or it was neither. It was never a patriarchy. Okay, guys? That's the Europeans. That's all them. Well, maybe never isn't the right word, but it it is concluded that the Philippines pre-colonization was a matriarchy or was neither and had a hunter-gatherer society. And like awesome sauce. Why do you think everybody can sing there? They're blessed with beautiful voices because they know what's up. They know what's up. That's why everybody there can sing a Beyonce song straight out the womb. And they have delicious food. Why do they have all this amazing land, all this amazing culture? Because they knew what was up. Men just do too much. They're around too much. There's too many of them. There's too many of them that are evil, right? Even in the fashion space. Look at look at all the major fashion houses and look who's the creative director. Go ahead, guys. I'll give you a hint. They just all switched places last season. They all switched places. They're still there. It's the same people, all switched places. They're all guys. They're all guys. Yeah. Yay. They're all guys. They're all guys. But men take up space in everything. In fashion, which is seen as a woman's thing. Even fashion guys, fashion YNs, fashion cuz, um, they're not fashion guys, they're just sneakerheads. If you ever hear a guy talk about, oh, I love fashion, what do they love? Oh, I love Rick Owens. I want these Rick Owens boots. I want these Rick Owens shoes. Or like they want a Supreme jacket or shirt. I want the Apex Twin shirt. You don't like fashion. You know nothing about it. You know nothing about the history. Like, I don't want to sound like an elitist, but you can't say you're a fashion guy when you're just a sneakerhead and you're not even that. You're not even that tuned in to sneakers or into shoes. Stop trying to be something you're not, bro. I also think that men just being so involved in everything, they need to like have their own place, bro. I am a separatist. Is that a thing? Like, they just ruin everything. They ruin everything. And of course, women aren't innocent. Of course, they're not. Of course, I recognize this. But we're all victims of the patriarchy, which is made for men to be on top. Men are still the problem when it comes to women, when it comes to men, when it comes to non binary people, when it comes to people of color, black people, Hispanic, Asian. Men are the root cause. Maybe I don't know. Maybe this is nuanced discussion that I'm not really contributing to. Maybe this is just something I'm saying because I had the middle seat with a guy who was just really tired and just wanted to relax. And a lot of things that have happened to me, my friends, my mom, a lot of people, a lot of their issues sort of trace back to men, right? Like my grandma, may she rest in peace, was shot, killed by a guy, right? Femicide. And there's a word for that. Violence against women for being women, like it's just so terrifying. And especially as a woman, when you're told, taught, and shown that guys, men have, can, and will do terrible things to you when given the chance. And it's proven time and time again. And that needs to stop. And we need to stop centering men and allowing men to talk, talk, talk. Shut up. Close your mouth and your legs. It's simple as that. It's so simple. You don't need to be involved in everything. And I think the worst part is that I don't even think it's a men thing. I think it's a human thing, but there are so many people out in this world who think they're right all the time because they're not willing to learn. They're not willing to acquire new knowledge and they seek out knowledge that's they know is going to fit their point and fit what they already believe. They're not open to exploring new things, and I think that's what caused the argument that happened in my classroom today because you obviously are not open to listening to women, listening to people that may have different views than you. So you're going to attack them, assume that they don't do anything for equality. You don't do anything either. Think we as a society need to let go of men. And I know easier said than done, bro. Like after 1,000 years, after 1,000 years, you're kind of like maybe it's not possible, but it is. We just all have to do our part. Don't stand for BS. Don't let people attack your friends or attack you, especially if it's a guy or someone that's upholding patriarchal standards and views. That's weird. Don't let that happen. Speak up for yourself, okay? I don't care if, like, be careful because people are crazy and then white lady tears gonna get y'all killed, but it's really important to stand up for yourself. It's important to share what you think and how you feel in a manner that is true to you and not just out of anger but out of wanting to share that knowledge and share that wisdom to someone that needs it, truthfully. So, if we can take anything from this video, it's that I have class in 2 hours, I have a paper due Sunday, I have another paper essay due Tuesday, and I didn't get into the Cambridge research essay scholarship thing. I guess it wasn't good enough. That's okay, guys. I did it in like 2 weeks. But otherwise, men, I want world peace, dude. I don't like having to go outside and worry about all the terrible things that could happen to me. I don't like feeling unsafe and uncomfortable. I don't like having to judge people just by how they look because they look like a guy, because they're a dude. I don't like having to do that, but I have to for my safety. Survival skills, babe. I don't want to have to use my instinctual survival skills anymore throughout my entire life. for everything. We have so many men out there who just awful guys, and this really stuck with me. Men, guys, you just be better. I'm not saying everybody has to be bitter. Some people aren't. Some people are gonna hate. I might get a little grape comment. I have before. Um, Not here, but I've been told heinous things by men, and I've had my experience, and I've seen things, I know things, I've lived things, and I know I'm not wrong. Men, guys, you take up too much space in everything. I don't know if it's pride, but you need to get over it. You need to close your legs, especially your mouth too, and open those ears. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching, guys. I don't know how this is gonna do, but thank you for listening to my rambling. And maybe I'll make another one. It's more scripted about this topic, and it'll be way more thought through and way more cohesive. But until then, bye.